What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Reddit video here on the Life Stories channel. My name's Dylan, and today we're going to be looking at some stories from the subreddit Tales from Retail, so sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Why can't you order my chicken? This happened last weekend to me. To give context, I work in the grocery department at a big box store, specifically in the produce section. Now, the produce section is super small, and it also contains both the meat and the bakery section. Anyway, as I'm stocking up the produce table, a Karen comes up to me. Karen: "Excuse me, do you work here?" Me: "Yes, ma'am, what can I do for you?" Karen: "Well, I'm looking for organic chicken brand and I can't seem to find it." Me: "Oh, let's see if we have any on the shelf." I start to walk over to check the meat section to check when she stops me. Karen: "That was a trick question. You guys are out and you've been out for the last 2 weeks. I want to know what's going on. Why are you guys out?" Me: "Well, it's a very popular brand." Karen: "No, it's not that popular. I come to this redacted at least once a day and I've noticed you guys have been out of it for the last 2 weeks. I want to know what's going on. I eat a lot of chicken and that's the only brand that I buy." Me, taking a deep breath: "I'm sorry, mum, I really don't know what's going on for that brand. I haven't seen it come on the truck in a while." Karen: "Well, can't you order it? I called this location one time and complained about it, and the guy told me over the phone that he was ordering it right then. When I came in the next day, y'all had it." That confused me. I've been ordering for this department for the last 1.5 years, and I've never seen the chicken on the order guide. The only time I ever ordered meat is during Thanksgiving/Christmas time, and the only thing remotely close to chicken are the Cornish hens and turkey." I take out my device, pull up the order guide and show her. "I physically cannot do that, ma'am, it's not on my order guide. I'm not really sure who you talked to, but..." Karen: "Are you trying to tell me that you can't order it? I'm not buying that. I called this location and the guy I talked to was able to order it. I don't understand how you can't." I repeated what I said and even showed her again. She crossed her arms and repeats what she said. At this point, I'm struggling not to snap at her. Then an idea came to my mind. I don't think I'm explaining myself clearly. Let me get my manager, maybe she can explain it better. In the meantime, the grocery truck came, so let me see if it came in today. Karen glares at me. "So you're telling me there is some? You really should..." I blurt out, "I never said that. I'm gonna go to the back and see whilst I get my manager. I'm just trying to help." That seemed to please Karen as she smirked at me. "Oh, okay then, that would be great." I went to the back room to get my manager and gave her a brief rundown on what was happening. We both checked if any of the chicken came on the truck today, but unfortunately it did not. Then she followed me back to the Karen, who was angrily typing away on her phone. When she saw us approach, she had a surprised look on her face. "Oh, I'm surprised you actually bought someone." My manager asked what was going on, and Karen reiterated what she said to me to my manager. My manager gave her the same response as I did, which was not very effective. Karen gets angry and says, "It's so frustrating that you guys don't have my product. It's so inconvenient for me to have to drive to another redacted just to get my chicken," and rambles on about it. Eventually, my manager cuts her off and says, "I'm very sorry you have to drive all this way. I'll talk to my district manager and request that he send some more chicken to this store." Karen perks up at this and goes, "That would be great. It's just so frustrating that," and goes off into another spiel. My poor manager stood there and listened to Karen until she finally walked off. Well folks, in the meantime that it took her to bitch about the chicken not being there, she probably could have just driven the extra however many miles it was to the other store that has it. Good lord. Wedding drama at a suit store. I used to work at a mid-range suit store chain as the formal wear manager, and as such was in charge of everything weddings in our store. As you can guess, there were plenty of rude and frazzled couples. This couple took the cake, however. The man is husband, the woman is wife, the GM is the groomsman, me is me, just for clarity. Husband and wife come into our store and I greet them. They told me that they'd been in another one of our stores and that they'd had an awful experience and had to redo all of their planning. The store they were talking about was honestly awful, even we knew it, so I apologised to them and said we'd do our best to make it up to them. They ended up picking out a lovely grey custom shirt and some rental pants, shoes and ties. I warned them that they would need to make sure all their groomsmen got fitted as soon as possible because the custom shirts took extra time to be shipped to our store. They thanked me and we were all laughing and chatting. I thought it went really well. Cut to about 2 months before the wedding when I was checking to make sure that all the groomsmen got fitted. I noticed GM hadn't been fitted and I immediately called the groom because we needed a month minimum for shipping. Hello, I'm calling from the suit store and I just wanted to let you know that GM hasn't been fitted yet. Is there any chance you could send him to his nearest store to get it fitted? Man, yeah sure, I'll let him know, thanks. A week later I noticed this guy still hasn't been fitted. This time when I called the groom I asked for the GM's contact information so I could get in touch with him directly. Then I called him and emailed him. He called back and agreed to get fitted as soon as he could, and even asked if there was an option if he couldn't make it to a store, as the closest one to him was about an hour's drive away. I explained everything to him and he said he'd get fitted that week. As the wedding drew closer, I was calling every couple of days reminding the groom that he needed to get fitted or there was nothing we could do. Finally, I called him to break the news. The deadline was up and we couldn't get the shirt on time anymore. The man was furious with GM and said he would have a word with the guy and asked if there were any other options. I said we still needed measurements to find a shirt that would look similar to the one in store and he said he'd get them. About 2 weeks before the wedding, he gave me the measurements and I found a couple of shirts in our store that might work. 2 days before the wedding, the man and the woman came in to pick up all the rental items and their custom shirts. I retrieved the items, then pulled out the options for GM. Me. So we have a couple of options for the shirts for GM. I think this one's the closest to the custom one. Woman. What do you mean options? Where the hell is his custom shirt? I am utterly confused, as I assumed that she knew about the problem. Me. He didn't get fitted in time, and I called woman. Okay, what the hell? I've had it with this company. First the other store messes up our order and we have to start over, and then you drop the ball. How are you going to fix this? We're getting married in 2 bloomin' days and you don't have his shirt. Meanwhile, the man is just letting me take his fiance's anger and looking sheepish. I'm stammering and trying to calm her down. Unfortunately, I'm not the quickest with words when people yell at me. My boss, seeing the commotion, came over to help. Boss, what's going on? Woman, he didn't order the custom shirt we're paying a lot of money for and messed up our wedding group. I want a discount on everything for the wedding. We set this up months ago. Boss points at man. She's called him multiple times over the past months to get this sorted out. GM didn't get fitted in time. We're sorry, I know it sucks, but here are your options. The woman whips around to him. He starts stammering and she turns back to us. Woman, unbelievable. She stomps over to the fitting rooms with him whilst he's trying on his shirt. She's on the phone with someone spouting about how our poor service is and blaming me for all the problems. They ended up picking out the shirt I suggested for GM and then leaving the store muttering all the way. I was told that they came in the next day to pick out ties and were just as rude. It was sad because they were super nice during the consultation, but it turned so south so quickly. I have so many other stories because weddings, snobs, and semi-expensive men's clothing. Well, weddings do tend to bring out the best in people. After the boss man pointed the finger at the real culprit, I would not have been able to stop myself from adding, and I called GM multiple times directly giving him multiple options, but unfortunately I do not have the ability to force your groomsmen to get fitted. I can't believe the woman was still blaming OP at the end. Acetone is not makeup remover, and no, I cannot bring an entire armchair or couch down from upstairs to you. Worked at a retail store for a while. I had to help a couple of gems, including a lady who didn't know what Acetone was and used basically nail polish remover to remove her eye makeup, and then asked me if we had something that was both a face wash and a dry shampoo. But this next lady really takes the cake in my retail experience. One thing to remember for the story: the store I worked at let us wear crop tops to work, so I was in a crop top and jeans for that day. So this lady was like 70s looking, frail and tiny, looked like an artsy grandma, and she wanted to know if we had any overalls. Well, she was in luck because overalls were like 70% of what we had that season. She says she wants a black pair, so I show her what we have. She said she'd like to try it in both a medium and a large, so I pull one of each. This lady ends up going through the whole store, making me grab a bunch of medium and large in every single jumpsuit and overall style we have in the store, then has me carrying everything in her arms and follow her around the whole time like a personal shopper. At the store I worked at, I was responsible for helping everyone on the floor, not just one customer at a time, so thank God no one really asked for my help. One mum came up and was about to ask me for something before she saw the 20 overalls I had in my arms and said, "Oh, it's okay honey, I'll just find it myself." Bless that woman. Lady now wants t-shirts to go with her overalls. Okay, I show her our t-shirts. "These are too baggy," she says. "I want a tight t-shirt." I explained that we didn't carry any tight t-shirts this season, only light tank and crop tops, and all of our t-shirts were pretty baggy, but I found a style that was sort of fitted and she flips through the entire rack before saying, "Okay, get these two for me." Mom, you can reach the rack. I saw you flip through the rack. The rack is shorter than you are. I get that you're elderly, but I'm carrying like 20 overalls. That's just 2 t-shirts. But whatever, I grab her t-shirt. I end up taking all of her stuff to the dressing rooms, where she has me give her my opinion for every single overall she tries on. There's a growing line in front of the rooms now, and thank God every other customer was a really understanding college kid who totally got why I was slow to help them. I also find the one tight t-shirt in the whole store in the sales section for her. She pretends to get mad at me for not having bought it to them earlier today. She thinks it's funny when I panic for a second. She also thinks it's okay to do this. "Lady, do you have any dark blue overalls?" Me, "Yes." Lady, "Well, why didn't you get them for me?" Me, "You said you didn't want them. You said blue was too dark." Lady, "Well, now I want them. So I have to radio to have a medium and a large in the dark blue overalls sent upstairs." An hour later, she finally decides to put on the pants she wants, but wants to see what her new outfit looks like with a bandana in her hair. She's having some trouble holding her arms up long enough to tie it properly, so I offer to do it for her. While I'm doing this, the lady pats my waist, my bare skin. This lady just pats the exposed part of my waist. My soul left my body for a hot second, but whatever. I bring all her stuff down. She takes one look at the long line and one cashier girl and says, "Oh, my back hurts so much from standing and this line's so long. Could you just let me go first?" I tell her, "No, ma'am, I cannot in fact let you cut in front of 10 other people. But if you'd like, I can hold your stuff behind the register until the line dies down and we can find you some place to sit in the meantime." I offer to take her upstairs in our elevator so that she can sit on one of the really soft couches or armchairs we have on display. She refuses to go upstairs. "I'm not walking up those stairs," she says. I repeat that we have an elevator and that I'm more than happy to take her on. She still refuses and insists on staying downstairs. I say that she's welcome to do that, but the only seating we have downstairs is the shoe benches, and those are just hard plywood, which wouldn't do her back any favours, and the soft seating is upstairs in our furniture section. "Could you just bring an armchair down for me?" No. The couple that was next in line overheard the whole thing and very, very kindly let her cut in front of them, so I just dumped all her stuff at the register and booked it. The cashier told me later that the lady didn't believe how much her stuff came up to, and made her cancel the transaction and ring each piece up one by one and show her the price tag and how much it rang up on the register. Well, honestly, OP deserves an award, a coffee, a foot rub, something. They have the patience of a bloomin' saint. Well guys, that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like rating down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.